What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Good Success Quick Tips. I am Josh Culler, and back with me today I've got Pete Richter, who is our #1 salesman in HouseSmart for the Indiana territory. You do all of eastern Indiana and then southern Indiana towards Indianapolis, and I believe you do some deals in very southern Indiana, right. So like Evansville. Right. It's a long drive, but that's where one of our quick tip videos that you previously did for virtual wholesaling really came in handy.
Yeah,
so
correct.
If you guys haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. But today he's going to talk about running numbers for a deal. This is something that every wholesaler that we come across, I mean, we teach newbies all the time, and they just do not get this part of the deal. And if they do get the part, they just don't run the numbers well or something like that. So Pete is definitely an expert in this area, so he's going to give us a few quick tips on that. So what do you have for us today, Pete?
Great, thanks, Josh. There's a couple of key numbers for any deal that you have to have, and this works regardless of what you're doing with the house. If you're wholesaling it, if you're going to fix and flip it, whatever you're going to wind up doing with the house, you have to know what's called ARV. It's after repair value. Everybody refers to it as ARV. And that is, what's the house worth all fixed up? Typical way to find this out is if you work with a local realtor and say, hey, if I fix this house up, what would you list it for as far as being able to sell it? That's one real good way to find it, but there's all kinds of ways to help you determine ARV. If you don't have a local realtor that you trust, you can run comps. Those are available off the MLS. Some people use Zillow, websites like that. You could, websites like Zillow give you a bunch of different information. What was the property assessed for? What did it last sell for? They'll even sometimes give you some comps in the area. MLS Access is the best. MLS, the multiple listing service, will give you specifically houses that are available for sale in the area, those that have sold, those that have gone pending, how long it took to sell them, give you a bunch of information that you can compare to your house. But one thing I think a common mistake people make, Josh, is they don't physically drive by the house and drive around the area to find out, how does my house compare? I've got this list of comps, or I've got this comp information. How does my house really compare to these houses? Right. That's critical to me. One of the first things I did when I was ignorant in the area, and I had to go look at a house and try to help determine the ARV, was I would find for sale signs in the neighborhood, and I would just call on those houses and see what they were listed for. At least to give me some idea, is this house worth $100,000 or $150,000? You know, if you got that big of a gap, it's going to make a huge difference in your numbers. But anyway, ARV, there's all kinds of ways, and if we had enough time, we could delve into each one of these to,
Well, I'm glad you mentioned comps, because Jared Stoltmeister actually did a quick tip video on verifying comps, so that really complements that well.
Yeah,
so you guys go watch that.
There you go. And then the other number, so you got ARV and repairs. For anything you're going to do with a house, you're going to need to know what the repair number is. Now, you don't need to be an expert on fixing up a house. You don't need to know what a kitchen costs or what a bathroom costs yourself necessarily. Obviously, if you do, that's a huge help. But you got to connect with contractors, and then when you're running repair numbers, you should have get a couple different repair numbers, not just from different contractors, which obviously is good to get different bids, but what would it cost me to fix this up really nice? What would it cost me to just barely get it ready for rental? And then you probably can figure out between those two a number in between. And I think all those are very helpful to have for any house. So you got ARV and repairs. So for a wholesale deal for us, once we determine those two numbers, the rest of it is just math. And then it's figuring out, when we're running our numbers, what we refer to is, let's take a house that we determine the ARV, for sake of example, is $100,000. That's a nice round number, easy to do math with. One of our numbers we run then is, when we sell this house to an individual buying it, what we want them to get? And one of the things we've determined at our company is we want them to have at least 30% equity in the house.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? For a $100,000 house, they need to be into it completely for $70,000. And at the end of the day, they've got a house all fixed up. It's worth $70,000. They've got 30% equity.
No, it's not just their buying, guys. That's the repairs and everything they need to do.
Correct.
They need to do the house.
Correct. So the house is worth $100,000. The buyer that's going to buy it from us will need to buy it for X and then put X into it, and whatever those two X numbers are need to equal right around 70 for it to make sense, we think, for the buyer to buy it from us.
Yep.
And so then from there, you determine, well, what do I want to make on the house? So a typical wholesale deal for us is right around $10,000. So let's take that $100,000 house. We've already figured out the ARV is 100. Now the repairs, let's say we got a retail repair number at 25 and a rental repair number at 15. For a wholesale deal, we would use 20 then, kind of right in between. So you don't know exactly what they're going to do with it. It really doesn't, at the end of the day, matter to us. So let's just throw a 20 repair number on this particular illustration. So now the ARV is 100. We've multiplied that by the 70% to give them their 30% equity. So now we're at the 70,000 number. We subtract the repairs of 20, so now it's 50. That's what we need to sell it for. So we sell to somebody for 50. They put 20 into it. They're into it for 70. If we sell it for 50, we want to make 10. We have to bid 40. So for that $100,000 all fixed up house, we have to get that for 40. You say, well, how am I going to get that kind of a house for only $40,000? Because the house needs repair. So it's not going to be listed for $100,000. At least it most likely won't be. If it is, it won't be for long. So as that list number comes down and it's closer to that 40, you've got a chance for your $40,000 bid to get accepted. And that's what we do all day long for our wholesale side. The only thing different in retail is you have to consider there's holding costs, there's cost of, for example, cost of money, insurance, utilities. So you're fixing the house, it's not going to be sold right away. It's going to take a while to fix it up. You're going to have insurance on the house. You have to pay for utilities, probably pay realtor to buy and sell the house. There's other things you got to factor into when you're running numbers on a retail flip. But really, at the end of the day, if you do $200,000 examples side by side, wholesale and retail, you pretty much have to get the house for about the same price. You can make a little bit more on a retail, but it's going to take you longer to make the money. So these are some examples of running some numbers, but the two key numbers on any deal are ARV and repairs, and from there you can pretty much figure out where the rest of the numbers fall into place.
Great stuff. And like you said, those are the two biggest things that you got to get nailed down. I mean, there are probably other details, but these are quick tip videos, so we're not going to get into those details. So maybe we'll save that for a podcast or something. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So thanks, Pete, for being on. I lost my words there.
That's all right.
It was so good that I
like
lost
you.
my words. Yeah, exactly. So thanks for being on the quick tip videos today, and we'll definitely have you back and look forward to a podcast for running numbers. So you guys look out for that. And if this video did bring you value, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube or like our Facebook page, however you're watching this video. That's going to do it for today's quick tip episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.